You want peace? Then learn to own your mind. Every single day you are going to encounter people who will test you. They'll disrespect you. They'll lie to you. Talk behind your back. Look you in the eye with a fake smile. But listen close. You are not what they say. You are not what they say. You are what you choose to respond to. You see, people can only press buttons that you make available. And if your peace of mind has a price, someone will always be willing to pay it just to see you lose your balance. Don't give them that power. We weren't built to be controlled by emotions. We were built to master them. Emotions are messengers, not masters. And anger? That's the loudest cry of a weak ego. Let go of the need to prove yourself to anyone but the person in the mirror. You don't need to react to disrespect. You need to rise above it. You don't need to match their energy. You need to protect your own. Silence isn't weakness. It's confidence. It's knowing you've got nothing to prove to people who aren't worth your peace. Sometimes walking away is the most powerful thing you can do. Not because you're scared, but because you've matured, you've grown. You've learned to value your mind, your time, your spirit. Let people think what they want. Let them talk. Let them underestimate you. But just remember, your journey is not a debate. It's a mission. Inner peace is not something you find outside of yourself. It's something you build within. It's a decision, a discipline, and a daily practice. In a world that seems designed to provoke you, mastering inner peace is the highest form of strength. It's not about avoiding chaos. It's about learning to stay calm in the middle of it. When everything around you is moving fast, people are shouting, opinions are flying, and tensions are rising. The one who can stay still, composed, and grounded holds the real power. See, the world will always try to pull you into the storm. The challenge is to not let it change your temperature. And that starts in your mind. Inner peace is like a shield. It protects you from unnecessary battles. It keeps you from reacting to things that aren't even about you. When you have inner peace, you stop taking things personally. You understand that most people act out of their own pain, their own insecurity, their own frustration. Their words, their actions, their energy, it's a reflection of their internal state, not yours. When you master your inner world, you stop needing to control the outer one. That's the secret. People waste energy trying to fix others, change the narrative, get validation, prove themselves. But none of that brings peace. What brings peace is knowing who you are. It's being so rooted in your values, in your vision, in your worth, that nothing outside of you can shake you. Not criticism, not disrespect, not rejection. Because you've already accepted yourself. You've already validated yourself. You've already made peace with the parts of you others don't even know exist. Mastering inner peace doesn't mean you never get angry. It means you don't let anger master you. You feel it, but you don't live in it. You acknowledge it, then you release it. You choose how long it stays. You don't let it decide your behavior, your words, your tone, your direction. You learn how to pause, how to breathe, how to create space between what happened and how you respond. That space is your power. That space is where wisdom lives. That's where maturity kicks in. And it's a practice. You don't just wake up one day with perfect peace. You earn it day by day through self-awareness, through restraint, through reflection. It's in the moments you want to snap but don't. It's in the moments you want to fight back but choose to walk away. It's in the moments you choose peace, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. So, protect your peace. Guard it like treasure. Build it like a fortress. Because once you master that calm within, no storm outside can touch you. And when you've got that kind of control, that kind of clarity, you don't just walk through life. You glide. You move with purpose, grace, and presence. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can break a mind that's already decided to stay unshaken. There's a difference between reacting and responding, and learning that difference can change your entire life. Most people react. It's quick. It's emotional. It's driven by impulse and ego. Someone says something disrespectful, and the instinct is to fire back. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you're instantly filled with rage. That's reaction. It's automatic. It's primal. But responding, that's controlled. That's intentional. That's the result of awareness, discipline, and self-respect. Reaction is what happens when you let your emotions take the driver's seat. And when emotions are in control, logic takes a backseat. But response, that comes from a place of power. It means you've taken a second to pause, to think, to evaluate the situation before choosing how to handle it. That 1 second pause can be the difference between peace and conflict, between growth and regret. When someone comes at you with negativity, When they try to provoke you, it's because they want control over your emotional state. If they can get you to react, they win. You've handed them the keys to your peace, but when you choose to respond or sometimes not respond at all, you take back control. You show that their words, their energy, their drama has no power over your mind. That's strength. That's maturity. Think of it like this. If someone throws a match at you and you're soaked in gasoline, boom, fire, chaos. But if you've soaked yourself in water, peace, calm, understanding, that match fizzles out before it even lands. I choose what you're soaked in. Reaction is gasoline, response is water. And this doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It doesn't mean you don't speak up or set boundaries. It means you're strategic about how you do it. You can be calm and still be firm. You can be respectful and still be clear. Response doesn't mean weakness. It means wisdom. It means not allowing someone else's lack of control to pull you out of your own. Responding also means understanding the context. Sometimes people are not even upset with you. They're upset with their life, their stress, their pain, and you just happen to be in the path of that storm. But you don't have to join it. You can stand steady, look beyond the surface, and realize this isn't about me. That awareness can save you from unnecessary battles. Building the habit of responding over reacting takes time. It takes practice. It starts with mindfulness, watching your thoughts, your feelings, and your triggers. The more you practice that pause, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, your first instinct won't be to explode. It'll be to breathe, to think, to choose. So the next time you're tempted to react, take that breath. Ask yourself, well, what outcome do I want from this? What kind of person do I want to be in this moment? Then respond like someone who's in control of their life, their emotions, and their direction. Because that's who you are. Someone who doesn't let the world dictate your peace. You dictate it. Not every single time. Your energy is your currency. Where you spend it determines the quality of your life. And in a world full of noise, chaos, and distraction, one of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to protect your energy. Because not every situation deserves your attention, and not every person is worthy of your reaction. There are people who thrive off of stealing energy from others. They don't bring peace. They bring problems. They don't lift others up. They pull others down. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself emotionally bankrupt, drained from giving time and energy to things that don't matter and people who don't deserve it. That's why boundaries are so important. Not just physical boundaries, but emotional ones. You've got to decide what gets your focus and what doesn't. Who gets access to your mind, your heart, and your spirit, and who doesn't. When you protect your energy, you stop chasing arguments. You stop trying to fix broken people. You stop trying to convince others of your worth. You learn to walk away without explanation, without guilt, without hesitation. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're clear. Clear about who you are, what you stand for, and what you're not willing to tolerate. Protecting your energy doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means being selective. It means choosing environments that feed your growth, not your doubt. It means surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and respect you. It means saying no, not because you're rude, but because you value your peace more than pleasing people. And let's be real, not everyone deserves front row access to your life. Some people belong in the balcony, far enough away that they can't throw shade on your light. This is especially true in conflict. Just because someone wants to argue doesn't mean you have to participate. Just because someone is loud doesn't mean they're right. Silence can be the most powerful response when someone is trying to pull you into their chaos. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Sometimes, the best way to protect your energy is to say nothing and walk away. And when you make this a habit, something powerful happens. Your life starts to change. You feel lighter, more focused, more in control. The things that used to bother you don't anymore. The people who used to trigger you lose their grip. Why? Because your peace becomes a priority. Because you finally understand that your energy is sacred and it's not meant to be spent on distractions. You don't need to match energy. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to stay grounded, stay centered, and stay focused. Yeah. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Your energy shapes your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. Don't waste it on people or problems that don't matter. Invest it in your purpose, your growth, your peace. That's how you rise. That's how you win. One of the most powerful shifts you will ever make in your life is learning to detach from your ego. Because most of the anger, the frustration, and the emotional chaos you experience, it's not about the situation. It's not about the people around you. It's about the ego. That part of you that constantly wants to be right. That wants to be recognized. That wants to be respected at all costs. But here's the truth. The ego is fragile. It's loud, but it's not strong. Bop! And if you let it run the show, it will drag you into every pointless battle and make you feel like every disagreement is a threat to your worth. Let go of the need to always be right. Let go of the need to win every argument. Let go of the desire to prove yourself to people who don't even matter. Because when your peace depends on your ego being satisfied, you'll always be at war. You'll be fighting for validation, fighting for attention, fighting for recognition, fighting for recognition. And that kind of life, that's exhausting. You weren't built to live in constant defense mode. You were built for clarity, for peace, for purpose. Detaching from the ego doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've stopped letting your self-worth be determined by external things, status, approval, likes, titles, opinions. It means you've started seeing things as they are, not as your ego wants them to be. You stop taking things personally. Someone disagrees with you, that's their view, not an attack. Someone criticizes you, that's their projection, not your truth. You begin to realize that not everything deserves a reaction, and not every moment is a battleground. When you move beyond ego, you operate from a deeper place, your spirit, your values, your vision. You don't need to clap back at every insult because you're not defined by opinions. You don't need to dominate conversations because you're secure in your voice. You don't need to prove how strong or smart or capable you are because you already know. That's where real power lives, in self-awareness, not self-importance. You'll also notice your relationships start to improve because ego destroys connection. It makes you defensive. It makes you blame. It makes you close off. But when you detach from it, you start listening more. You become more compassionate, more understanding, more patient. You're not looking to win. You're looking to understand. You're not speaking to be heard. You're speaking to connect. And the beautiful thing is, the more you let go of the ego, the more peace you experience, the less you react, the more you observe, the more you grow. You start choosing battles wisely. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Not every challenge is a test of your worth. So today, decide to let go of that voice inside that always wants to be the loudest, the proudest, the most dominant. Choose humility, choose clarity, choose peace, because the goal is not to feed the ego, it's to free yourself from it. And in that freedom, you'll find strength, confidence, and the calm you've been searching for all along. Before you judge someone, take a step back and ask yourself, what might they be going through that I can't see? This single shift in mindset can completely transform the way you deal with people. The truth is, people don't always show you their pain, their stress, or their trauma. They just show you their reactions. And a lot of times, what looks like disrespect, anger, or coldness is actually a cry for help. It's a reflection of their internal struggle, not an accurate picture of who they really are or who you are. When you understand this, you stop making everything personal. You stop carrying other people's emotional outbursts like a burden on your back. You learn to separate yourself from their storm. That person who snapped at you, maybe they just lost someone they loved. That coworker who always seems negative, maybe they're battling depression and don't know how to ask for help. That stranger who was rude to you, maybe they've been disrespected so many times, they walk through life expecting the worst from everyone. People project their pain. And if you're not careful, you'll absorb it. Here's where emotional intelligence comes in. Instead of reacting to the surface, you look deeper. You ask questions, not just with your words, but with your awareness. You listen with empathy. You respond with patience. And no, this doesn't mean you let people walk all over you or excuse bad behavior. It means you recognize that not everything is about you. It's about them, their wounds, their experiences, their fears. You can protect your peace and still be kind. You can set boundaries and still be understanding. This mindset doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It allows you to move through the world with compassion instead of conflict. And in doing so, you maintain control of your emotions. You don't let someone else's storm drag you out of your calm. You stand tall in who you are and you give grace not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. When you stop judging, you start learning. Every interaction becomes a lesson. You begin to see people not just for what they do, but for what they've been through. And in that awareness, you grow. You become less reactive, more grounded, more in tune with your own emotions. You learn to pause instead of pounce. You learn to respond with maturity instead of reacting out of ego. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, frustrate you, or throw negativity your way, don't take the bait. Don't let your emotions be controlled by someone else's unhealed wounds. Choose to see beyond the moment. Choose to understand. Because understanding gives you peace, and peace gives you power. You're not here to fight every battle. You're here to rise above them. And that starts with seeing people not just for how they act, but for what they might be carrying behind the scenes. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. There's a quiet strength in raising your standards instead of your voice. In a world where people shout to be heard, where arguments are often louder than logic, choosing to lead with grace, presence, and self-respect sets you apart. You don't need to scream to be powerful. You don't need to dominate a room to be in control. The most powerful people are not the loudest, they're the clearest. Clear on who they are, what they stand for, and what they will and will not tolerate. Raising your standards means you stop entertaining disrespect. Not by fighting back with anger, but by removing yourself from environments and conversations that no longer align with your values. You don't engage with every insult. You don't reply to every low blow. You don't argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Because you've elevated your life to a place where peace is non-negotiable. You teach people how to treat you, not by what you say, but by what you allow. If you constantly respond to chaos with more chaos, you're telling the world that your peace is negotiable. But when you stay calm, when you walk away, when you handle conflict with dignity, you send a clear message. I value myself too much to lower my vibration. This doesn't mean you suppress how you feel. It means you process it. You understand the difference between reacting in the heat of the moment and responding from a place of maturity. When you raise your standards, you don't just demand respect from others. You demand it from yourself. That means not compromising your integrity, even when you're disrespected. That means staying in control of your emotions, even when someone's trying to pull you into theirs. People will test you. They'll push your buttons. They'll try to bait you into conflict. But when you've raised your standards, you no longer fall for the trap. You realize that not every situation requires your energy. That walking away doesn't mean weakness. It means wisdom. It means you've learned that inner peace is more valuable than being right. And let's be honest, the way you carry yourself speaks louder than any words ever could. Your energy introduces you before you speak. Your silence can command more respect than shouting ever will. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, people notice. They may not always like it, but they'll respect it. And if they don't, that's not your loss, it's theirs. Raising your standards also means surrounding yourself with people who match your growth, not your comfort zone. It means choosing relationships that feel like peace, not war. It means creating a life where you don't have to constantly explain yourself, defend yourself, or prove yourself. Because when you value your own worth, you no longer look for it in the approval of others. So speak less, mean more. Live by principle, not by pressure. Not by pressure. Set the tone, don't match the noise, because real strength isn't in how loud you are, it's in how calm you stay when everything around you is trying to pull you off center. That's power. That's leadership. That's what raising your standards looks like. When you understand your true purpose, everything changes. You stop getting distracted by petty arguments. You stop letting small minds pull you into small battles. You stop being shaken by things that have nothing to do with your mission. Purpose gives you direction. It gives you clarity. It gives you clarity. It acts like a compass in the middle of chaos, guiding you through noise, drama, and distraction. And the people who stay focused on their purpose are the ones who don't get bothered by nonsense. They're too locked in to be thrown off. A person with purpose doesn't have time to argue with everyone. They're not interested in proving themselves to people who don't even know their journey. They're not caught up in needing to be understood by everyone because they understand themselves. Purpose keeps you grounded. It reminds you that every battle isn't worth fighting. Every opinion isn't worth addressing. Every distraction isn't worth your energy. Think about it. When a train is on the track, it doesn't stop for every barking dog along the way. It keeps moving. It has a destination. That's how you have to live. When you know where you're going, you don't pause to entertain every insult, every negative comment, every piece of shade someone throws your way. You keep moving because you've got bigger things ahead. Purpose also helps you put things in perspective. When you know your why, your emotions don't control your actions. Your mission does. That person who disrespected you, you don't need revenge. You're focused on your next step. That person who doubted you, you don't waste time proving them wrong. You prove yourself right by staying on course. That challenge that came out of nowhere, you don't fold under pressure. You rise because your purpose is bigger than your problem. Living with purpose means you've already decided who you are and where you're going. So no matter what comes your way, you respond with intention, not impulse. You don't need to win every argument because you're not here for applause. You're here for impact. You don't need to react to every critic because your results will speak louder than your words ever could. And this kind of focus isn't just powerful, it's rare. Most people are distracted. Most people are reactive. Most people waste energy on things that don't matter. But you choose differently, You choose to protect your mind, guard your focus, and move with discipline. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. It's not just talent. It's not just luck. It's the ability to say, I don't have time for that. I'm building something bigger. So the next time someone tries to pull you off course, through disrespect, drama, or doubt, remember your mission. Remember your purpose. And remember this, you were not built to fight every fire. You were built to walk through flames without getting burned. Stay focused. Stay locked in. And let nothing and no one pull you away from where you're destined to go.